Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on digitalizing your supplier quality process. My name is Joonas Lounamaa, and I'll be your host for the webinar. We have a outstanding panel of experts with us today. First, we have Pertti Lounamaa, the CEO of Poimapper, who will kick off the session with a presentation on how to improve the supplier quality assurance using Poimapper. And joining us for the Q&A, we have Olaf Hartvig, a senior expert in operations with extensive experience in mass and customized production across 4 continents. We are also joined by Simon Nissing, a certified BDA process auditor with many years of experience in global supplier management roles. And the webinar will run approximately 30 minutes, including a Q&A session to which you can submit your questions via the chat throughout the session, and we'll address them. And also, just to let you know, the webinar will be recorded, and we'll share the recording afterwards with you and in LinkedIn also. And now I think Pertti can start his presentation. And go ahead, Pertti.
Hello everyone. I will today present how our digital solution for supplier audit works. It is a comprehensive solution that supports all the steps of supplier audits. But here are some highlights, in particular compared to traditional and Excel-based approach. First, before doing the actual audit, the audit questionnaire can be sent to the supplier for self-audits. Self-audits are often a separate phase done with a separate tool. Here the self-audit becomes a step in an integrated process. Doing the team audits with paper and Excel is tedious because results of multiple auditors have to be manually consolidated after the audit. With this approach, the audit work can be shared and consolidated in a controlled and automated way. With the traditional approach, the findings summary has to be manually prepared. But with the digital approach, the audit result is summarized already during the audit. In particular, all the findings and proposed actions are automatically available in the PDCA table. The PDCA table is shared with the supplier and they can update the plans and actions online. As all the data are collected into one database, trends can be visualized and suppliers can compare in a systematic and automated way. Let me now go through the digital supplier process. Ideally, the audit starts by selecting a suitable template from a company-wide library of audit and inspection templates. This ensures consistency and comparability of the audits. Any updates to the audit requirements are immediately available to all auditors globally. After having selected a template, it is populated with the data of the supplier to be audited, such as result of previous audits. At this step, one can also pre-select which topics are to be audited for this particular supplier. The background data, such as contact information, may be retrieved from a supplier management system. The next optional step is to share the questionnaire with the supplier, who may enter their own comments for each question. During the audit, observations are recorded, evidence such as supporting documents is attached to the audit and scoring is done. A summary of results and the findings are automatically generated. Once the audit is completed, the lead auditor and supplier may digitally sign the audit as being approved by them. The PDCA table of findings and proposed actions can then be shared to the supplier for doing action plans and updates on the status of actions. The auditors can then follow online the progress status and even when the corrective actions have been completed, close the audit. To achieve continuous improvement both for the process itself and with the suppliers, data from all the audits can be To achieve continuous improvement both for the process itself and with the suppliers, data from all the audits can be analyzed with business intelligence tools. Let's go now through the process more concretely with screenshots from the system. First, the user selects the supplier from global list of suppliers and, if relevant, the site to be audited. Information of ISO and other certificates can be added if available, for instance from a supplier management system. After this, the audit can be shared with the supplier by clicking on the Share button. The supplier receives an email with a link to the audit. By clicking on the audit link, the audit will open such that only those fields that the supplier should update being editable. The rest of the fields are hidden read-only. In this example, the supplier can read the question requirements, give comments, and attach evidence. To set up a team audit, audit topics can be pre-assigned to roles such as lead auditor, co-auditor 1, or co-auditor 2. When doing the audit, the auditor then selects his role, and after having completed their part, records the audit as done. Even if the audit tasks have not been pre-assigned, results of multiple auditors are merged with clear alerts if there are overlaps. During the actual audit, the user may select which topics to audit. Topics may be filtered based on business unit doing the audit. In particular, for technical audits, topics may vary based on the business unit. If a topic is relevant, it is selected as applicable and the questions are shown. For convenience, each question may be colored based on the scoring. If the score is 0, the color is red, and if the score is 10, the color may be green, with yellow and orange for medium scores. By clicking on the question, the assessment and scoring are done. When doing the assessment, the auditor first selects if a specific question is applicable. Each question may have a criticality weight. Criticality used to determine if a lower score requires a corrective action or if an improvement request is enough. In this example, the supplier is given the comments, which enables the auditor to give the score without having to give their own comments, and thus saves time for the auditor. The auditor's spoken comments can also be recorded and automatically transcribed to text. The automatic audit summary shows which topics are applicable, the number of corrective action requests and improvement requests, and the score of each topic. Approvals may be done by digital signatures. This can either be defined as optional or mandatory and can be done in multiple steps, and of course, as anything else, can be customized. The really important step is the automatic summary of the findings to the PDC action table. Each row corresponds to one corrective action request, improvement request, or recommendation. After initial review, the table can be shared online with the supplier. The supplier's contact person will receive an email with a link to the audit, automatically showing the PDCA table. The supplier then prepares action plans, updates the status to completed when done. In this example template, the closure date can only be updated by the auditor as the final confirmation step. Once all actions have been closed, the audit can be closed and the final report generated and archived. Next, let's look at some examples of visualization. The first example shows the number of corrective action requests and improvement requests per month for all audits. To see which audit the request belongs to, the bar can be clicked and the corresponding audit opened by clicking on View Data Points. This sample chart is done using Poimapper. To create a chart in Poimapper, one selects which form and which question should be included and what is used as the x-axis, plus some other chart configuration possibilities. The next chart has been done with Microsoft Power BI, with data from a real case. The number of suppliers nominated with conditions, and rejected per each month is shown. One can also check which supplier each result refers to and filter results based on selected suppliers. The next slide is really interesting. Here one can see the number of still open action and improvement requests based on the month when the actual assessment was done. So for instance, one can see that there are still 4 open corrective actions based on assessments done in November 22. By clicking the bar, one can see which supplier this refers to. The final chart has been generated in Poimapper. It compares 4 suppliers, each color corresponding to a specific supplier. To summarize, the key benefit of digital solutions are the company-wide templates available in the library of templates, easy setup of audit, including, for instance, pre-selection of topics to audit. At the starting point of audits, you may ask the supplier to do self-audit. Furthermore, the team audits can be done effectively. 4. As the summaries and scoring are done online, the complete audit report can be ready still during supplier visits, and the results can be reviewed and approved immediately. 5. The suppliers can enter the plans and update the status online, streamlining the follow-up process. As the results are visible immediately, the actions can be approved and closed faster. 7. Overall, substantial time savings can be achieved. And finally, with all the data available for analytics, both the audit process itself and supplier performance improvements can be systematically achieved. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Bertti, for the great presentation. I think for the questions, we have received some good questions that we can go through with our experts, Simon and Olaf. And I think first question that we got here is for you, Olaf. Which processes does Poimapper support and facilitate?
Good question. Now, the biggest advantage in terms of magnitude of audits is that the tool we have used so far in very flexible and customized way, which means all types of internal and external audits are possible to conduct. And starting internally with any daily routines on incoming inspections, on line conformity or product conformity, approval tests, all of this down to surveys and assessments can be conducted. And we have been able to process layout process audits, line audits, and any type of maturity audits, for example, process audits on projects, as well as externally supply chain process audits and any supplier audit. Even environmental health and safety audits, employee satisfaction surveys can be conducted. So it's really the flexibility of this tool that is recognizable. And then what Pertti already said, to assign these audits to specific departments, also internal departments, is anytime possible. So whether this is an external supplier or an internal supplier or a different plant or even only a department, it's very flexible. That would be my answer to that question.
Okay, thank you. And related to this, I think one for you, Simon. Pertti talked about saving 20 to 40% of time. How do you achieve this with Poimapper?
Right. Yeah, also a good question. So obviously we're talking to digitalize the supply quality process, which means one of the key things is to reduce paperwork, to have a digital solution that Poimapper offers. So no more staple of papers on a clipboard carrying around on a shop floor during an audit. Since it's available for Apple, Android, and Windows as an app, you can use it on your smartphone, tablet, or computer. So on all main devices you're using, everything is synchronized as you're used to from other applications. And then you can also, during the audit, collect the evidence, taking pictures, taking short videos, uploading documents like PDFs right away, and also using the voice recording that then actually also can transcript into the report, which means during the process audit or whatever audit you're carrying out, you automatically collect all the data, not only the main questionnaire, but also you can link documents and evidence to each question. You make recordings that you speak, just simply speaking, into your tablet or phone or computer. And then the transcript later on is your audit report. So no more, once the audit is concluded, no more typing for multiple hours and copying everything over from your sheet onto the computer and so forth. Everything is already available right away. So your supplier or the internal team, no more waiting for hours in a conference room until the report is done. You really have a great and quick turnaround on the actual audit. And then also, since you can give access to the cloud to, for example, your co-auditor, so quite often you have a lead and a co-auditor, simultaneously you can visit the different departments or sections of the audit and upload all the results at the same time, which obviously is also a huge time saver. And also, I think is quite important is that you can, since right now we have many different questionnaires from maybe several industries you supply to, different customers, but also the requirements from government keep increasing. So you can kind of collect all these, summarize them, and really carry out much less audits. All in all, the frequency can be reduced because you can cover several topics, questions, audit types within a short period of time. So I think that those are like the main takeaways on how you can reduce the time.
Okay, thank you. And also one more for Olaf. How would you describe the precise value for an organization using Poimapper?
Yeah, that's one for me. Value we gain mainly through structuring and processing our audits in a very consistent way. maybe even we gain maturity towards our suppliers. We seem to be professional, organized, and also then accountable somehow, and we request that accountability from them. We are getting a bit more frequent or maybe more punctual on our processes. That means we are running them in a good time frequency, and also give to our departments. If we are a quality department, we give to other departments in the company also again on controlling that process better. Yeah, and if we have a solid number of suppliers and the base is maybe increasing nowadays, we are getting also more flexible in our sourcing. That's also a big advantage here to gain that scalability, right? Where we are able to integrate quickly new suppliers and get, let's say, achieve still the same process quality of auditing and consistency, even if we have suppliers all around the world that we need to integrate into that. So that my view, all customer and industry specific requirements can be met. That's really a big value, and we control it in a better way. Yeah.
Okay, and what about where do you see the main advantage compared to Excel and ERP?
Yeah, wow. Simon has already mentioned some gains, and towards paper and pen, let's say, I think also the go live immediate option with that tool is a big gain towards an ERP. So you have at the end a very budget-friendly solution with Poimapper that you can use right away. The gain is or the main advantage is also that it's a workflow-orientated tool. That means it creates transparency towards all the participants. You're always up to date with anything. So that's really a live tool, and not recordings are done and reported in a later stage. All is able to share, which Pertti showed, that there is no borders. You can share it with anyone. And if you have all of these done in a quality department, also inside your organization, you don't need an IT department to customize, to update, to adjust. This is going to be done by the function. It's also in the end just a budget improvement, and in terms of maturity of the organization, it's a big gain, and you don't have to pre-invest so much like in an ERP. Before anyone can use an ERP, it's usually a longer time of training, learning, and then understanding all the requirements, and here you can just go and do. So all overall, I think it's really not so much comparable to an ERP, and it's rather independent from an ERP, right? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That sounds good. And Simon, one more hands-on question for you. How do you use Poimapper to keep transparency on your supplier audit and follow up at any time?
Yeah, well, one of the things, and I think I briefly touched base on as well as Pertti during the presentation, is that you can give access to any other user, whether internal or external, which means typically what we do, you have one or two key contacts from the supplier, from the auditee, that you can just assign an interface to. So, right, once the audit is done, it automatically generates the report with all the findings for corrective actions. And then you just give access for the supplier or the auditee, and they can submit then all their corrective actions, including evidence, again, pictures, videos, PDF files, you name it, in the cloud. So automatically you can set up an alert when there's an update been made. You just look into the audit report, and everything is within Poimapper all the updates are in there from the suppliers, so you don't really have to chase them with emails around or phone calls. So it's a good way to follow up with them and keep track of all the open items. And then also for the transparency and also compliance, which is more and more important, I think, from our point of view and experience, where you can also give access to upper management or to certain key members within your company that can, either see live or after the audit, they can see the full report. They see all the details and not just a finished report. They can interact with you through the report, maybe add some comments, remarks, whatever. And also the different departments. For example, if you're carrying out an internal audit or as preparation for an external audit, you typically try to collect all the data, evidence, and most recent quality standards from the different departments. This can all be kind of funneled through Poimapper, and you just grant them access internally, assign the users, and you just have everything at one point. Everything is digital. So I think this is also a great benefit for the transparency. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And one more. And how does Poimapper support your specific industry requirements?
Well, as Olaf Hartwig mentioned as well, it kind of supports everything. So that's a great thing where within a few hours, you can build a new questionnaire that you'll be using for audits. When there's a new revision, either from customer, from ISO norm or so, we know that they've been pretty frequently adding some questions or tweaking some things. Also, what we've seen in the last few years with whether it's the pandemic, global supply chain issues, sanctions against Russia, and you get questions from customers or governments or so about your supply chain, you can immediately build a questionnaire, share it with your suppliers, get the results back, analyze everything, use the tool given within Poimapper, where really within a day you can adjust to new standards, new revisions or requirements. And also, depending on the industry, as I mentioned to one of the previous questions, you can summarize very well different questionnaires, different requirements, ESG, Supply Chain Transparency Act, and so forth. Many things where you have to usually start from zero over and over again. You can just collect everything. You can also just upload recent files and tweak them a little bit, edit them a little bit. And yeah, always, as I mentioned, within hours or within a few days, and without involving your IT department or waiting on other people in your organization, you can have an up-to-date questionnaire that can be used for the audits or for just a supplier follow-up, depending on the need. But I think this is very neat that you can use it then for different industries, and different questionnaires that may come up internally, externally, that you can pretty easy use. You can also upload files. When you have a questionnaire you get from your customer, you can upload it into Poimapper, generate the digital questionnaire, run it internally, and really, again, going back to the time saving there, have a much quicker turnaround time. Your customer's happy, you submit everything within the deadline, and really bearable to use in various scenarios. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Got some great questions today and even better answers. I think if there is something free word, anyone has anything else to add here, or we have some couple of questions in the chat that we can later get back to you.
I answered some questions.
Yes, okay, and we are also a bit over time already, so I think we can thanks for attending, and all the panelists, of course, and Pertti for the great presentation. And about the webinar, you can watch it again from the recording. We share it with everyone, and also in LinkedIn, as said before. All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a great weekend.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for participation.